be a Hoosier. It's a pleasure to be here in person, and I want to thank Commissioner Warren and his staff for putting together a first-class event for not only the coaches but also for our student athletes. It's been terrific this morning. I also just want to thank the Big Ten and how they handled the COVID situation a year ago. The fact that we had a season was incredible, and I don't think anybody could have imagined not having one. So thanks, Kevin, again, for you and your staff, and in addition to our staff at Indiana and our doctors and our nurses that made it possible. We obviously are very excited about the season. It's been well noted that we have all 5 returners coming back from an Elite 8 run. We, in addition, have some pretty special pieces that have had a terrific summer of work. Our non-conference schedule is once again daunting, but it's only going to prepare us for Big Ten play. I want to thank the media. You guys are special for showing up and telling our story of women's basketball and this conference. It's an incredible one with not only great coaches but terrific players. So with that, I will open it up for questions.
In the 4th row.
Hey, Coach, Dylan Wallace, Sports Illustrated. You mentioned some of the new pieces. Just how have they come along? The 2 Caitlyns, Kiara, and Mona. Just how have they gotten acclimated to the team, and how much do you feel like they can help you this season?
Well, I think obviously the summer access, piece is certainly always important to the development of our young players. Chloe Moore McNeil is also a kid that has really stood out, I think early. Our player development, what our coaches do, I have the best of the best in our staff. And the fact that we get in the grind every day in the trenches with them, roll up our sleeves, get our hands dirty, they're all getting better. And, our vets get it. They understand that getting in the gym, in addition to what's required, will always set us apart. And those young kids continue to come along as we had hoped and planned.
In the front row, in the far corner.
Terry, Lou Friedman from the Seymour Tribune. You just mentioned that your vets get it, but have you made it clear to them that last year was really just a beginning and you still have higher goals and there's more to achieve?
Oh, well, there's no doubt that, anytime that you have make a run the way we did, the last thing that I said in our last press conference before we left San Antonio was, we've gotten a taste of what it's like to make a deep run, and it only fuels you, it only inspires you, with returning to Bloomington and starting your work all over again. And so there, I have a great, led by Allie Patberg, who is a tremendous leader, but she also has a bunch of help, from Grace Berger and Mackenzie Holmes and Alexa Gulbey, and Nikki, our point guard. And so, our vets are a true example, right, of especially for those younger kids, of what it takes in order to prepare yourself for NCAA play.
In the back.
Teri Moren. Hey, Steve
Hi,
Strimming,
Steve.
Excel Sports, Indiana Sports Network. Quick question. I was going to ask you one question, but Rex had a better one. Mental toughness, something that you had lots of last year.
Sure.
Is this something that when you recruited these kids that you have now, that was something you were looking for? Because before you got there, that was non-existent.
Right. Well, there's no doubt. I think a lot of that comes from our staff as well. We're really competitive inside of our office, but I think that when you look at the makeup of our team, we are tough, we're gritty, we're stingy defensively. We're always going to be willing to make the extra plays, get on the floor, rotate, take a charge, and that's just sort of our DNA. That's who we are, and we're going to always play with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. We're never going to believe that we've arrived, and that's again what makes this team so special is they understand that. They understand that there's still a lot of work to be done, and every day they show up, and it's just about getting a little bit better than we were the day before, and that's just been how we've built this thing, and it's worked for us so far.
We have time for 2 more questions. In the 4th row.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Mike Schumann with the Daily
Mike.
Hoosier. How has having 5 starters back this year allowed you to maybe, take things to a new level in the offseason and in your preparation?
Well, anytime you have a vets, 5 returners, practice is a little bit different. I think it's more efficient right now. We're moving through things a little quicker than we did a year ago. But, I do think that, they've been great examples for those young kids of what it looks like and should look like. But it is a different feeling, when you have those 5 that are returning. There's not a wasted day in our program, and I'm not lost on the fact that this is sort of the last go around with Allie Patberg. I swear to God, it is. This is it. I don't think we're going to get her back for an additional year. But the Alexa Gulbes and Nikki and that group. So, this is a really special, tight-knit, great chemistry, group. And so they've not only, they're just fun to work with every single day. And we know as a staff that we're really lucky to coach these young women.
One final question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, Grace obviously got to play with the national team this summer. Just how valuable was that experience for her?
So, it's so valuable. I think Grace already had a level of confidence, but when she returned, you could tell she's at a whole nother level right now with not only the way she's playing, but her confidence. And I can tell you this: no one has worked harder than she has on her game and has, deserved the opportunity to play for the US of A more than Grace Berger. And so we were thrilled for her, obviously, but it did a whole lot for her confidence, without question.
Thank you so much for your time this
Thank you,
morning,
guys.
Coach. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it.
Turn our attention to the men now, and obviously the headline is Mike Woodson, new head coach for Indiana, his first year as a college head coach. But right away he started recruiting, and that included recruiting his own players like Trace Jackson Davis, who's absolutely going to be in the hunt for Big Ten Player of the Year. He brought in some big transfers as well. Commissioner Kevin Warren about to introduce the new man in charge of Indiana.
To the stage will be the head men's basketball coach at Indiana University, Mike Woodson, who has had a very special basketball career. Playing at Indiana University, was Big Ten Player of the Year, All-American, played in the NBA, coached in the NBA, and now we are so thrilled to have him back in the Big Ten as the head basketball coach at Indiana University. Welcome to the stage, head coach Mike Woodson.
Thank you. Good morning. How's everybody? Thank you, Commissioner Warren and your staff for all you've done today. This is a beautiful setup. I'd like to send a shout out to our new president, Pam. Also, our new president, Quinn Buckner, who is the president of our Board of Trustees, and as well as Scott Dawson, who made the trip to New York to bring me back home. So it's good to be back. Just a little brief introduction to our team. We've had an opportunity for the last 3 months to work together. I kind of got a jump on probably all the colleges that are out there, Division I schools, because we had an opportunity to go to the Bahamas. And that trip was great for me because, again, it gave me an opportunity to put some things in on both sides of the ball, and it gave our team an opportunity to get to the Bahamas and bond. You know, we got a number of new guys on our ball club, and it gave them an opportunity to bond with some of the old guys that were here in the past years. So with that being said, it's good to be back in Bloomington. It's good to be back here in Indianapolis, where I was born and raised, and played all my high school basketball here in the city. It's good to be back. So I'll open up the floor for any questions.
Back row.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Mike with On the Move with Sports Kels. My question to you is, being, coming from the NBA and coaching and playing before that in some pretty tough markets, do you think that gives you an extra way to give these guys the mentality of the NIL, the business management, when they push for the next level of the NBA, so they don't see that as a distraction while they're trying to play a good college season?
I think it helps a little bit, but again, I'm in the Big Ten now, and there's an elite group of coaches that have done it. I'm new at this. So I don't know if it gives me an advantage or not. I've spent all my life in the NBA, and a lot of the players that you recruit are trying to get to the next level. And now with the NIL and the portal, things change now, I think, in the college game of basketball. And I think we as a university, we got to be on top of that in terms of how we navigate our players through this. But there's a lot of work that's got to be done. Again, I don't know if I have an advantage or not. I know I'm competing with a lot of great college coaches and a lot of great players that play the game of basketball in college.
Second row.
Hey, Coach. Ian Patton from the Badger Herald. I'm just wondering, with Trace Jackson Davis obviously being one of the best players in the Big Ten this year, what role do you see some of your other guys playing, especially some talented freshmen you had last year?
Well, again, when I took this team and started watching a lot of tape, film on the team, we have some holes to fill. I thought we went out by bringing Xavier Johnson in and Miller and bringing Tamar Bates over and Big Mike. I thought we filled some of those holes, but I'm looking at our roster where everybody's got to step up. It's just not the four guys we brought in or the guys that I inherit. Everybody's got to play a role, and I've always felt that way as a coach. We just can't depend on Trace to carry the load. So I'm trying to instill in all of these players that, they have a chance to play and make a difference on our ball club. That's the only way I think we can win at a high level.
In the front row.
Mike, Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Indiana.
Hi, Tom.
We've talked a lot during the summer about your sort of quick indoctrination to learning all about your players and such, but can you talk a little bit about that same sort of getting to know your assistant coaches and such, and how all that's been working for you so far this summer and fall?
Well, when I took the job, it was on the fly. So I had to put a staff in place, which I thought, the guys that we brought in, they know the college game, and they're good basketball coaches. And they've helped me kind of navigate through the recruiting process, the things that I can do and can't do. And then just the college game in general, from a basketball standpoint. It is a little different than the pros. In the pros, we got a lot of guys that can make the three ball. And our team, we're trying to get to that point. That's why we went and picked up Xavier and Miller, who both can make the long ball, and hoping that Tamar Bates, along with Galloway and the guys that I inherit, will improve this year in terms of shooting it. But I'm happy with my staff because, again, without them, I would be lost, being new at this. But we got a lot of work, a long way to go.
Second row to my left.
Hey, Mike. Dustin DePierac, Bloomington Herald-Times, over here on your left. How have you seen Rob Finney evolve since you've had him? I mean, how is he a different player, and what are things he does differently now than what you saw from him on film and what you saw from him when you got started?
Well, again, I try to evaluate players based on them dealing with me now, and I can't look back in the past and look at the things Rob has done and hasn't done. For me, he's been a treat. I think he's been one of the most bright spots, over the last 3 months in terms of running our ball club and getting things done on both sides of the floor. My problem with Rob is I just got to get him to shoot more. I'm telling him it's okay to shoot the basketball, and I don't know if he's had coaches tell him that in the past, but I'm telling him it's okay to do that. But he's been a nice treat to our team in terms of his growth, and I'm going to need his leadership as we move forward this season.
We have time for one last question in the third row.
Yes, Mike DeCourcy, Mike DeCourcy from Sporting News. Xavier Johnson's played a lot of college basketball, but not on successful teams. Is there something that you guys have to go through to make winning a habit with a player like that who's obviously talented but hasn't had success?
Well, again, we got to do that with all our players. We're all new. They're trying to get to know Coach Woodson, and I'm trying to figure them out as individual players and the things that they can do to help us from a team standpoint. And Xavier's been great because he changes the game with his speed. He can make shots. He can get in the paint and create. I'm just trying to get him to be a better point guard and involve his teammates in terms of running our offense. And there's no doubt he's got to be good on the defensive end, because I think that's where we'll be a better team if our team is defending on a high level. That'll put us in position to win ball games.
Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Coach. Good luck this season.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.